Shazam! Hey everyone, Maroni here. So I just got done watching Shazam earlier this night, and of course I'm going to do a review on it. So for those of you who don't know, Shazam is a superhero movie from DC Comics, and it stars this teenage boy named Billy Batson, who ends up getting these powers from a wizard named Shazam, and every time he says the wizard's name, he transforms into a superhero. So this movie I loved. It was a fantastic movie. It reminded me of the Spider-Man movies, because while we have a lot of superhero movies right now, we don't have a lot of movies with teenage superheroes. So I always find that as an interesting thing. And this movie definitely had a Spider-Man Homecoming type of vibe, with Billy Batson being a teenager and kind of going to school and having to deal with that kind of stuff, which was really fun, and I really, really enjoy. Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. I love it when he's in high school and has to deal with, normal family stuff and high school stuff. So it's something that Shazam did really well as well, with Billy Batson dealing with his life, because he's a foster kid. In the beginning of the movie, he gets separated from his mom, and he's kind of trying to locate her. So he's kind of dealing with that, and he constantly gets put into new foster homes, and he's constantly running away because he doesn't see these foster homes, even though they're filled with good people, as homes, because he has a mom out there, and he's constantly searching for her. But he gets placed in this new foster home, and with a new foster family, and there's plenty of kids there, especially this kid named Freddy, who he becomes very close to, because Freddy is a big fan of superheroes. And as we know, superheroes exist in this world, so he's a big fan of Superman, Batman, and he's constantly talking about them in superpowers. So when Billy first gets these powers, he goes to Freddy to try to figure out how to use his powers and everything. And you've probably seen that in the trailers and whatnot, because they show him trying to figure out his powers, and Freddy's always kind of recording it. So, like I said, this movie's fantastic because you have this teenage feel for this, this kid who, he's just a kid, a teenage boy, trying to learn how to be a superhero. And it's very fascinating because he kind of uses his powers trying to gain money and stuff. Like he'll take selfies with people and charge money. He even goes out and, puts a guitar case on the ground to try to earn money by shooting lightning out, kind of things. So he doesn't use his powers kind of for the right reason. Kind of like in the first Spider-Man movie, or in the Spider-Man movie, or Spider-Man comics, where he becomes a wrestler to earn money for himself. Billy kind of does that stuff. He's just using these powers for personal gain. And he doesn't have like a big Uncle Ben moment. But as we go through the movie, he learns, the responsibility part of being a superhero, because he does have people he cares about, even if he doesn't really realize it. And it comes, he slowly grows as the movie goes along. So overall, this movie is just fantastic. I absolutely love it. If you love the Spider-Man movies, especially like Spider-Man Homecoming, you're definitely going to love this movie. This is one of my favorite superhero movies, and definitely my favorite DC movie. DC has a lot of movies, including the older ones, not just their DC EU movies. So I think Dark Knight was my favorite movie, but I kind of like this movie a little bit better because I like the characters. I like the character dynamics. You do understand the villain. You understand Billy and what he's going through, and all his, new foster brothers and sisters. So it's a very entertaining movie, and I absolutely enjoyed it. I give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's just absolutely fantastic. Like I said, if you're a fan of superhero movies, you're going to enjoy this movie. If you're a fan of the Spider-Man-ish movies with teenage superheroes, you're definitely absolutely going to love this movie. Like I said, great cast, well written, funny, great action, a lot of great moments. It's just overly fantastic. So now I want to talk spoilers, because there's a lot of things I kind of want to get into. So if you haven't seen the movie, go check it out. Like I said, I recommend it. It's fantastic. I loved it. One of my favorite superhero movies. I think it's definitely top 10, and that's including with the Marvel movies and everything. So, of course, that's just me. You might not love it as much, but I think you will enjoy it. So, again, I'm going to talk spoilers. I'm going to count to 5 and then get out of here. I'm going to talk spoilers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bam, spoilers. So, there's a lot of cool Easter eggs in this movie. I'm not a huge Shazam, Captain Marvel fan. I do know him in several aspects about him, but this movie definitely made me a fan. But there's cool Easter eggs that I'm aware of. Like Billy goes to Fawcett Central. For those of you who don't know, Fawcett Comics is the comic book company that originally created the Shazam character. He was called Captain Marvel before DC picked him up. So I thought that was kind of cool. Earlier in the movie, when we first go into the the cave where the wizard Shazam lives, we see this little worm. For those who are familiar, he's a bad guy, one of Shazam's bad guys, this like psychic worm. I think it's called Mr. Mental. I don't really know his name. But we see him early on in the movie. In the post-credit scene, he ends up coming to Dr. I forget his name. Facilier? No. Dr. Van... the bad guy at the end of the movie ends up in jail. And Dr. Mental, or Mr. Mental, ends up going to him and talking to him. So it sets up the next movie as him possibly being the villain. There's a lot of cool stuff in this movie. Like I said, it's a world where superheroes exist. So, like, they end up getting in this fight, or Shazam gets in this fight in this big mall, and there's a bunch of, like, superhero toys, and, like, Batman and Superman and stuff, and cool stuff like that. But one of the things I love, like, at the very end of the movie, because Freddy wanted him to go to the school and show off, so people would be like, yeah, look, I'm friends with Shazam. But he doesn't go to the school when Freddy sets up this date and tells all the kids that Shazam's coming. But at the end of the movie, he finally shows up as Shazam to, show everyone, like, hey, Freddy's my friend and everything, kind of like that. And then he goes to sit down at the table where Freddy's sitting, and he's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I brought another friend. And out of nowhere, you just see the red, blue suit and yellow Superman comes up walking. You don't see his head or anything, so it's not necessarily a cameo with the actor, what's his name? But it's very cool. He kind of shows up and they play the Superman theme song, I think from the original movie. And everyone just cheered. I love that moment. It was so cool. And it makes me wish that they do more Justice League movies or more movies for the DCEU. I know they've been having problems. I just kind of hope they recast and connect these movies, because Aquaman was pretty good. I loved Wonder Woman. I loved this movie. And we already have a good Batman and Superman. Like, I wasn't a big fan of Man of Steel or Batman v Superman, or Justice League was kind of a muddle mess. That's the studio's fault. But they have good actors to play those characters, so I would love them to do a good movie and combine them. Because when Shazam showed up, or Superman showed up at the end of Shazam, it was so awesome. It was like, the possibilities, a great Justice League movie, which is something a lot of fans want, so something that I really hope happens, because that Justice League movie was just not good, and it's not what those characters deserved. And I think they could definitely get it right, and I hope they get it right. And I hope next time around Shazam is a part of it, because I love them. I think that was it. The Seven Deadly Sins are kind of the villains. They're kind of cool villains. There's just like this orb thing that the evil doctor guy puts in his eye, and he can summon the seven deadly sins to assist him. They look really awesome, really creepy. I just wanted them to go all out. Oh, the big thing that if you're a fan of the comics, you probably maybe saw it coming. So towards the end of the movie, he's fighting the evil doctor and the seven deadly sins, and his foster brothers and sisters are kind of caught up in it, and he ends up because Shazam earlier in the movie kind of mentions it. He's like, oh, it was me, my 6 other fellow wizards who defeated the seven deadly sins and whatnot and trapped them. He's like, and we've been waiting for someone to come take on these duties. So he ends up getting this staff, and he gives powers to his brothers and sisters, so they become the Marvel family, or the Shazam family, which is very cool, and it was a lot of fun seeing them. So 5 of his foster brothers and sisters end up getting these powers, and there's this big epic fun fight at the end versus the seven deadly sins and this evil doctor, and I absolutely loved it. When they all got their powers, the audience just cheered, and we were like, yeah, it was just awesome and a lot of fun. And it was really cool. Like Mary Marvel getting her powers, I absolutely loved. I love Mary Marvel. She's a cool character. And she has her comic accurate costume, and it was just amazing. I absolutely loved it. So for those Captain Marvel, Shazam fans, whatever you call him, he's called Shazam now. We just gotta accept it. You're definitely gonna love that moment. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see what they do in the second movie, because like I said, I loved this movie, and it was fantastic. So If you saw this movie, what did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. I loved it. You already know that. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out. Hey, if you like this video, we have several other awesome videos you can check out. And again, thanks for watching.